Let me tell you about a time where repairing a cheaply designed product ended up actually making it stronger and longer lasting. So in August, we got Ocarina of Time and Mario Kart 64 back in the house, and in provision of multiplayer racing, I needed a sibling for my Nintendo 64 controller that is currently 25 years old and still kicking. Ended up choosing the Brawler64 by Retro Fighters over some positive reviews and having followed their Kickstarter campaign. Love the idea of a sturdy, simple controller with a longer wire, and the updated design with 2 handles instead of 3, kind of like a 360 controller. Everything seemed very durable. Seemed. August 11th, order is placed on Retro Fighters website. August 17th, package is shipped. September 8th, package received. I was amazed by how slow the shipping had been, but whatever, I got a cool controller. September 17th, we start playing with the new controller, and on the same day, after 6 hours of gentle and regular play, note we are not competitive gamers, the A button stays down permanently. Now our story begins. On September 30th, I contact Retro Fighters describing the problem and including photos for proof. A representative wants to make it right and send me a brand new free controller. No strings attached and no need to send the old one back in exchange. Too good to be true. October 20th, a replacement never arrived. Contacting representative again to see if they were waiting for something, and the answer is negative. So let's wait some more, I guess? November 5th, contacted representative again, never received a reply. November 21st, contacted customer support instead of the rep directly. I inquired about the health status of representative and asked them if my item had shipping delays, was lost in the mail, or if the promise of replacement was shut down by a higher-up or something. November 23rd, representative back from the dead says that the request might have fallen through the cracks and apologizes, says they'll contact the shipping department again. November 28th, we have not received any controller and I'm getting a bit impatient. The shipping department has not contacted me. I write back saying that I will send the broken controller and ask for a full refund. I reiterate that a longevity of 6 hours for that product is not normal and that a warranty of 12 months is useless if not honored. On the same day, I get a reply that the controller has been shipped but still no tracking number for proof. Apparently, on quote-unquote Monday, I will get a tracking number. On Monday, November 30th, I write back to the representative asking them if they had successfully returned to the office. Representative answers that they are investigating and have prepped another shipment, so apparently a second controller for the inconvenience, and magically on the same day I received finally a tracking number. 3 weeks later and the controller got here, all brand new and shiny. I could not wait to plug it in. And what do you know, who would have thought, after 2 hours of regular play of Mario 64, this brand new controller got its button stuck in the down position again. By this point, I was a bit pissed. 5 months had passed and we still had no controller to play with apart from the still kicking OG controller that came with my console. I thought of just sending these people both their controllers back and asking for a refund. Now, don't tell me that I have big hands or that I pressed the button too hard. I have tried pressing my original controller's buttons like that. Never could make them stick. And while straining to destroy that little blue button, I got an idea. What if I actually repaired the controllers? So, I unscrewed everything and got to the problem. Here's the bottom side of the controller with 5 screws on the controller and 2 in the port. Let's unscrew those. Once the controller is open and laid bare, the issue becomes visible. That little rubber connector doesn't have enough force to push the button back. It can be pushed in a shape where it takes less energy to stay in that stretched pose than it would take to return to its original position. Similar to these toys, and if you used them in the past, sometimes you could over-push them and they would not pop back. Anyways, so here we are facing the real issue. Solution 1, I tried popping the rubber back in its original position. It's an easy fix, and I found that it fixed the problem momentarily, as it could be popped back wrong at any time in the future. Solution 2, I thought of extending the legs around the button to avoid that over pushing. Legs that are clearly there to mitigate this whole issue from happening, but finding the exact amount would be a game of guessing. Solution 3, I also thought about replacing the rubbers themselves for replacement ones that you can buy from the interwebs, but nothing was mentioning if they would end up being as strong as the original Nintendo ones. Then I thought, Solution 4, how about replacing the rubbers in my knockoff controllers with original ones harvested from a real Nintendo controller? And I chose this option because I knew from experience, 25 years in my case, how strong these ones are. So I ordered a scrap controller, and believe me, it was beat and dirty for that task. As soon as I received that pile of stinky Cheetos, I harvested the rubber pads. Some had been overused and lived a good life, but the C button ones could be rescued, just enough for replacing my two controllers' A and B buttons, knowing all four were already good candidates for failure. I snipped around them, trying to replicate the design of the Brawler64 controller, and I started repairing the first instance by hot gluing the new rubber push connector to the button itself. Knowing that the plastic feet should not be hindered, I snipped the rubber around the pads so it would not interfere. Trimming the central column proved to be unnecessary, as the length I was trying to compensate ended up making the buttons dip a little. So for the second controller, I used a different method by hot gluing the pads directly on the PCB in a position that would not interfere with the plastic feet. And I didn't even bother removing anything from the central column, and that turned out very nicely. So here's the final result on both controllers. The first one where I shortened the middle leg of the buttons and hot glued the rubber directly on it, and the second one where I hot glued the rubber connectors directly on the PCB. If I had to do it all over again, the second method is the one that gave me the best results and tells me that it would probably last longer. So here's me having fun with a few games and pressing the A and B buttons a lot to break them. And I'm very happy to report that it never happened. Who knew that using original Nintendo parts on knockoff controllers could actually fix and improve them? And back to the right to repair bit in the title, this adventure is a good example of a short-lived product that was designed with exactly that mindset to cut corners, where I just improved its lifespan well past the original disposability intended when Retro Fighters sold it to me. Originally, I thought I just got a lemon, but when the second controller rolled in and broke after 2 hours, I knew this was how they were made and made no further contact with them for assistance. Basically, I improved their $30 product with 25-year-old worn parts from a broken controller, and it cost me $6 in total, or $3 each. There is no way they could not have seen that faulty design in QA. No, they just let it happen, and I find it very shameful that they did. I'm very happy to repair and improve my property, and I think there are many instances where the same should be applicable to you without companies dictating what you can and cannot do with your life. If it can be repaired, then you definitely should. Apart from producing less waste and countering the disposable mindset, fixing things is one of the ways that I learned most of my electronic knowledge that I have today. And what if I had broken it beyond repair by making a mistake? Well, it would simply have been my own damn fault and no one else's. So back to the controllers. We've been playing for many hours since the repairs, and there's no sign of fault in sight. Oh well, I simply cannot recommend the Retro Fighters Brawler64 as it comes out of the box, and that is really sad. So that's it. Thank you for watching the Sound Card Database, and see you next time.